Changing ideas. What else? Solving problems. Pass on information. Express your thoughts. Get feedback. To understand, yes, possible.
By nature, social.
Okay, simply to socialize, be friendly. You're satisfying your own human needs. If you observe all these situations where we try and communicate, be it with friends, families, in our organizations, with colleagues, with an absolute stranger on the road, with shopkeepers, at a restaurant, at the bank, in all these situations we are trying to communicate with a certain purpose. There is an inner need. Even the most casual of conversations with family or friends, which may not seem to have any intent at all, does have some purpose to it. The purpose could simply be to satisfy the basic human need to talk to somebody. So there is an intent behind communication. And when we talk of assertiveness or any other kind of behavior, it is that intent that we need to go back to if we have to hone ourselves into being assertive most of the times. Would it be advisable to be assertive all the time? No, because it's behavior obviously is situational, and there are situations where you would definitely need to be aggressive if you need to get work done. So when we talk of labels like assertive, aggressive, passive, submissive, we're not talking of labeling, taking up a person and saying person A assertive, person B aggressive. No, that's not what we're talking about. All we're talking about is understanding what was the intention of that particular communication, and did that particular behavior satisfy the intent? Right? For example, here, in the first case, the first exercise, the group had to collaborate and come with one definition per group, but the idea was to ensure that all the group members agree. Right? In that particular situation, was there a requirement for aggression? Yes, you had to come to a conclusion. You had a task as a group, but the nature of the group was such, the task was such that it allowed for collaboration, which means it allowed for everybody to talk and mix opinions, which means everybody felt that they could contribute. There was a platform for contribution. So assertiveness was possible, and very easily possible. Right? In that situation, if you happen to observe that one particular member of the group completely stayed back, was passive, or one particular member of the group took lead and monitored the group when it was possibly not required, then that is a situation where we need to look back at ourselves and think about whether I needed to behave in that particular manner. If by nature of habit you tend to behave in a certain manner, that's one checkpoint for us to figure out, do we really need that sort of behavior? Now these behaviors come very often from our upbringing, our cultural, the cultural context that we come from. That's one source of it. Our professions hugely impact the way we are assertive or non-assertive. For example, if you look at a typical profession where people are expected to take charge and lead, for example, teachers, or for example, let's say somebody who's into managing events, right? Somebody who the profession demands that the person's in control all the time. Politicians, for example, yes, in certain cases. Now these are professions where you tend to be in the public eye, right? The public could be of any size, and by nature of your vocation, you've trained yourself to take charge, and therefore you might end up taking charge all the time, even when it's not required. For example, you're a teacher and you're handling tiny toddlers in class. Obviously you're expected to take charge, but when you go back, if you happen to display the same kind of behavior, that's where the checkpoint needs to come in. That's where the self-awareness needs to come in, where you say, I've switched context, I'm not in that constraint of tiny toddlers anymore. Do I need that behavior, or can I sit back and relax? So when we talk in terms of stress or causing hypertension, it's because the person stays in a certain framework and is not aware that the framework has changed, and that's what leads to stress. So, yes, when we talk of purpose of communication, the intent obviously is to create some kind of change. Change could be internal in terms of simply satisfying one's own need for communicating with someone and feel accepted, so that change is completely internal. Change could be external in terms of making another person being more well informed or persuading a person to accept a certain point of view. The different purposes of communication will lead to different kinds of behaviors. As we spoke about, those would be aggression, it could be submission, it could be a very dangerous label of passive aggression, and we have assertion. Of course, all of us display all sorts of behaviors depending on the situation that we are in, but our purpose is to try and be as assertive as possible in most situations. Now, here is where the emotion aspect of response comes in. The gentleman here spoke of how we need to move away from emotions, negative emotions like anger or fear when we are responding. But it is important to consider emotions and acknowledge them while you respond, because ultimately we are talking of a healthy human habit. Can we be separate from our emotions? No. It's not possible, and the very purpose of communication is to share emotion of some kind. But yes, the difference between reaction and response is the fact that we try and separate the negative emotions, which means primarily fear, anger, and sadness. Those three basic negative emotions which tend to drain us. All we're trying to do is separate those three reactions, those three emotions, and incorporate the positive ones. So assertiveness certainly does not mean being non-emotional, but it means shuffling away the unnecessary emotions. Aggression, what sorts of situations could require aggression?
If somebody is violating your justice.
Injustice, okay. There again, we do not need to jump to that level of aggression. We can try and be as assertive as possible, but yes, beyond a point, if the violation continues, yes, we need to go one step up and be aggressive. How do we display aggression?
Body language,
Body language.
Element to normal communication, verbal communication, raise your amplitude of the pitch of the voice.
Yes.
You can make your hand.
Yes. Typically your hands flailing, too much of movement. That's because there's a lot of nervous energy that comes in through aggression.
That is enough body language.
Body language, pitch, tone of the voice, it tends to go extremely high.
That may not get you the result,
It may not get you the result, but all you're doing is venting a certain emotion.
That person is still British to action. He is not bothered. So I have to get the result.
Yes.
What's a violent behavior?
Violent behavior does not have to be physically violent, but you're being mentally violent, because understand that when your behavior is aggressive, the intent of communication shifts without us realizing it. When the behavior becomes aggressive, the intent of communication changes from whatever it was to hurting the other person. Right? The intent shifts without us realizing it, and that's where every time we talk of shifting behaviors, we need to look back and revisit the intent of why we are communicating, because our result may have nothing to do with hurting another person.
Always, but intent remains same in the end, because suppose certain situation requires aggression temporarily. So my intention is to calm down that person, to go that level,
Yes.
and then shift back to assertiveness. But
Yes.
at that moment of aggression, my intent remains same.
Your intent will remain the same when you begin, but if you get into that flow of your own emotion, that's where you lose track, and that's where the self-awareness aspect comes in. You need to keep revisiting the intent again and again. Sorry? Sorry? Yes, that's where when we talk of shifting behaviors, putting on an act of aggression helps instead of letting us flow into the complete aggressive mode. So how do we put on an act of aggression is simply realize what constitutes aggression. Body language, right? A very violent body language, facial expressions, right? The tone in which we speak, which firstly includes the vocal tone, high pitch. Secondly, also the non-verbal tone in terms of the